I think sometimes we have to really go within and ask ourselves, certain questions, right? I remember it was this content creator that I was watching, and one of the things that she was saying was, pretty much we are not the same, right? Um, and we are or different, based upon color. And one of the things I remember I had got this download, right? And the download that I had received was everything that you've been taught or everything that you are pretty much at that time that I was listening to, it all was alive. And like when you get a download and sometimes you like, what? Like that don't make sense, right? And so I remember I had my past life regression, right? With Astro. Okay, shout out to Einstein Astro. And past life regression is pretty much, you go through the different times that you was here, right, on Earth. And I remember, I went into this like I don't want to say like hypnotized state, hypnosis state, but I remember I can see clearly like my past life, even up to the color of lipstick, which was red, and my hair was like a dark black, and I was in that past life regression. I was fairly light, right, very 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 light skin. And I remember, so Einstein Astro, he's been doing past life regressions for a long time. And I remember doing a past life regression, I was saying like, I am light. I am fairly light, okay? And he was like, Dina, you white. Okay. And I was like, no, I'm fairly light. And one of the things was because I had this belief system for so long that we come back just the same way we are, right? Like if you was born, if you in this life you are born of color, you when you return back to life, you're gonna be born of color again. And I remember I had heard so many people, like one person in particular, Michael Bernard Beckworth, okay, who is the founder of Agape. And he's of color. And one of the things he was saying was, that we pick our body, like our meat suit, so to speak. And then he was, Bruce Lipton, who's not of color, was saying the same exact thing. And I remember one night, just here recently, I was laying in the bed and I came across Dolores. I think her name is Dolores Cannon. And it was a video. And she was talking about reincarnation. And she was talking about karma. And one of the things she said was that, we have to experience every race. Okay, like when we come back, like when you come back to Earth, you have to experience every race. You have to experience every religion. Well, that wasn't hard, because I done tried, several religions in this one here lifetime, right? But one of the things I started saying was that it makes more sense that way, right? It makes more sense because this is the reason for me that it makes sense. If we are energy, it feels so good when you have an aha moment. If we are energy, right? Just a ball of light, so to speak. energy does not have color. Okay. Also, if there's no bias in this universe, why would the universe continuously have you coming back as the same exact thing, right? Your spirit, so to speak. Why would you, if we supposed to experience different forms of life, okay, why would we keep coming back the same exact thing? Another thing is that there is only one universal mind, okay? And I remember reading this in your Anderson book, okay, Three Magic Words. And in that book, he stated that there's, only one universal mind, and that universal mind is based upon your energy, vibration, frequency. So there's not a mind for the Asian, a mind for the Caucasian, or a mind for the blacks. Like, it's just one universal mind. And if you noticed, right, you attract exactly what you are. It doesn't matter, what your skin color is. And I remember even being a part of religion, and I talked about this before, but I remember being a part of religion where is though this concept that kept on, talking about the same thing over and over and over again. And it was pretty much skin color. And how, our ancestors, was brutally abused and all these different things. And, and I'm not saying that didn't happen, but what I'm saying is if you constantly focus on the problem, you'll never come up with the solution. And then sometimes we have to ask ourselves, do that make sense? Right? Like, do that make sense? And that was one of the things for me. And I told you guys, when I went to therapy, because I would be education junkie, okay, like a research junkie, always looking up things and just to escape my reality, okay. And I would constantly focus on things that it would stir up like some drama within. But I will focus on those things because I really didn't want to deal with what was going on in my life, right? First of all, I didn't even understand that I was the creator of my reality. That's one. And then two, it felt, if I'm blaming somebody outside my existence, that feels better, right? That had felt better, because if you say, oh, it's because of so to speak, the white man, this is why life is, the way it is, then it's like it takes all the responsibility off yourself, okay? And it takes you from being that dope ass creator that you are to being something of so to speak, a victim, right? And I never forgot the time where, as though, when I first started getting into personal development, right? And it was this brilliant, brilliant lady, Lisa Nichols, okay? And I remember when I had heard her story. First of all, she was a lady of a lady of color, grew up in the hood, okay, and was fairly successful. And I was so inspired by her story. Like, it changed everything. And, it started changing my perception. It started, oh, it's possible for me, right? And then not only that, I had went to her Speak and Write to Make Millions, like her seminar. And there was so many people of color that were millionaires. And the reason why I wanted to do this video, because this morning when I woke up, that idea, the monkey in the mind, it starts talking to you. And I started thinking about color and all these different things. But then I was reading the book, The Prosperity Bible. And this is what it says, okay? And I'm reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it says, you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because when Henley wrote the prolific lines, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, he should have informed us that we are the masters of our fate, the captains of our souls, because we have the power to control our thoughts. He should have told us that the ether in which this little earth floats in, which we move and have our being, is a form of energy moving at an inconceivably high rate of vibration, and that the ether is filled with a form of universal power which adapts itself to the nature of the thoughts we hold in our minds and influences us in natural ways to transmute our thoughts into their physical equivalent. If the poet had told us of this great truth, we would know why it is that it will urge us to translate into physical reality thoughts of poverty just as quickly as it will influence us to act upon thoughts of riches. He should have told us, too, that our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts which we hold in our minds, and by means with which no man is familiar. These magnets attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life, which harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. He should have told us that before we can accumulate riches in great abundance, we must magnetize our minds with intense desire for riches, that we must become money conscious until the desire for money drives us to create definite plans for acquiring it. But being a poet and not a philosopher, Henley contented himself by stating a great truth in poetic form, leaving those who followed him to interpret the philosophical meanings of his lines. Little by little, the truth has unfolded itself. Now it appears certain that principles described in this book hold the secret of mastery over our economic fate. We are now ready to examine the first of these principles. Maintain a spirit of open-mindedness, and remember as you read, they are the invention of no one man. Principles were gathered from the life experiences of more than 500 men who actually accumulated riches in huge amounts, men who began in poverty with but little education, without influence. The principles worked for these men. You can put them to work for you, your own enduring benefit. You will find it easy, not hard to do. Before you read the next chapter, I want you to know that it conveys factual information which might easily change your entire financial destiny, as it has no definitely brought changes of stupendous proportions of two people described. I want you to know also that the relationship between these two men and myself is such that I could have taken no liberties with the facts, even if I had wished to do so. 1. My own son. The unusual success for these two men, success would they generously accredit to the principle described in the next chapter, more than justifies this personal reference as a means of emphasizing the far-flung power of this principle. Almost 15 years ago, I delivered the commencement address at the Salem College, West Virginia, I emphasized the principle described in the next chapter with so much intensity that one of the members of the graduating class definitely appropriated it and made it a part of his own philosophy. The young man is now a member of Congress and an important factor in the present administration. Just before this book went to the publisher, he wrote me a letter in which he clearly stated his opinion of the principle outlined in the next chapter. Okay, now I'm not going to go into details of what the letter pretty much said, but one of the things I am going to say is, oftentimes we hear people backstory of their great successes, right? And sometimes we may hear, that all people grew up with the silver spoon, okay? Meaning they grew up, in a wealthy household, a wealthy environment. It has been passed down to them through, through their family. But that's not always the case. And one of the reasons why I love reading, different books, Think and Grow Rich, Prosperity Bible, let me see, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, Three Magic Words by Yura Anderson, the Four Agreements. Some of the reasons why I love reading and love listening to personal development is this, because majority of the people, they started out a certain type of way and they became successful. And so when you are constantly infusing your mind with, oh, this person started off a certain type of way and now they are successful, it creates this reality for you that, oh, I too could become successful. It creates this, this thing for you where as though you start, it inspires you in such a way where as though you get out your own way. Okay? It will inspire you in such a way that you get out your own way. And so with that being said, I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.